You call me a heathen, but to me I am godly. I live by the gods.
There is only one God.
But I have seen other gods. I have seen Odin, the Allfather, with my own eyes.
They are the devil's work. He conjures up demons and fallen angels to beguile us and lead us into evil.
What is evil?
Slaughter of the innocent.
You slaughter when it suits you.
He who chooses to be heathen is not innocent. But I could show you the ways of God. I could bring you to salvation and to eternal life.
Alright, so I put this off long enough. Gonna do it now. The last time I tried talking about this, there was just too much going on up in here, and I kept ranting about it, so I'm gonna try to use bullet points and kind of calmly and collectively talk about how complex this little conversation Ivar is having actually is. For those of you who don't know, Ivar is a pagan, and he's asking the question you're not supposed to ask. He's like, how can you call me godless when I am a very devout, God-fearing man? And Bishop Hagman, and then the Christian dude, he's like, oh, no, you don't understand. You weren't raised in a church. You don't believe in the Trinity. You don't know about Jesus and his story. You don't know the name Jesus, so you're out. And Ivar's like, but I'm following what I know. I'm taking what I know about Sky Daddy and applying it to my life verbatim. And the Christian guy, he's like, oh, no, that's not right, because you're slaughtering the innocent, you're corrupting the earth with your pagan ways, you're taking people off the path, all this nonsense. And Ivar just flips the script on him and goes, all of these things apply to you when it suits your religion. What Bishop Hagman is forgetting in this little conversation is that the Christian God is the Hebrew God, and the Hebrew God accepts anybody. He's universal. He's the universal God. God, the Hebrew God, took Abraham out of a very successful society that is arguably the most ancient society in the world that worshipped Marduk, if I remember correctly, or at least like the ancient version of him. I think it's the most ancient version. But he took him out of that, and he's like, you don't need all of that religious stuff. You can just talk to me directly and serve me directly. And Abraham's like, so how do I do that? And so God's like, I'll talk to you. You'll know what's right. It'll be clear. Because I trust you as an individual. See, God trusted Abraham. So, it all boils down to how you are, who you are in here and in here. He's not just the God of the Christians, he's not just the God of the Brits, the Europeans, the Catholics. He's everybody's God. He's the God of the Amazonians, of the Aztecs, of Africans, Australians, anybody, everybody has access to that guy. And what's really sad, and I have to do a video about this later, but Bishop Hagman, his religious club, is founded by a guy who said, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what club you're associated with. Clubs are gone and done away with. See, Ivar is using what he knows about God, and he's applying it to his life the best way he can. That's all God asks for. Okay? this the idea behind Christianity before the Catholic Church bastardized it is that each individual person can have a relationship with God with no strings attached. That last part they edited out and they added a whole shitload of strings. But you don't need strings. You can just talk to the guy. Okay? So the constant conflict between Christianity and all these other religions is that they don't see it as a universal concept. They see God or Jesus as a tribal concept. You can't have him unless you're part of the club. That's not the way the Christian God works. I'm not even going to talk about how the word Christian isn't right. It's not right. Jesus, the guy who supposedly founded Christianity, never called himself a Christian. He never said, go make more little Christians. He never said, establish the Christian church. He said, hey, I am from that guy. And so I am telling you that he is paying off your debt. So blood sacrifices in general, you don't have to keep beating yourself up over anymore. He's taken that on himself. He's starting from ground zero, okay? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus foresaw the Gothic complex or the conflict. For those of you who don't know, the term Gothic, or like the style, like what I like to emulate, it's based off of a book that was written by a guy who coined the term Gothic because he believed that he lived in a Gothic era. And he got that term from the idea that the Christian gods were at war with the pagan gods because the borders had been done away with. So it was no longer that tribe has their god and they stay on their side of the mountains. This tribe has their god, they stay on that side of the mountains. That's all gone. The world is melting together. Okay? So whose God will reign supreme? So I'm pretty sure Jesus saw that coming. And he's like, okay. Don't trust the church. Talk to that guy. Go back to how it started. Abraham. God calls himself the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For those of you who don't know, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were just guys. If you look up their story, in secret, because God forbid you ask another Christian about them and then they go, oh, they were so great, whatever. If you just look them up, they were screw-ups. They were just guys doing what they knew. And Abraham came from a society that worshipped Enkidu. And he was trying to worship God the way he knew to worship God, the way he knew to worship Marduk, not Enkidu. And so God was like, okay, I understand you need proof here. But as their relationship developed, God made it clear, I'm him. I run this show. All the gods you've heard about came from me. They work for me. When you pray to Odin, when you pray to Quetzalcoatl, I incline my ear. So there is no boundary. Just talk to him. That's all. And this is a classic example of how people keep missing that and making more lines. It drives me insane.